There's the kind of anger that just explodes. You snap, you yell, it's over in 5 minutes. But then there's the other kind. Cold, quiet, patient, the kind that doesn't scream, it calculates. This is the story of a guy who watched his neighbor steal from him for months, walking up to his property like he owned the place, then smiling at him the next morning like nothing happened. His name was Derek, 34 years old, regular dude from the suburbs of Ohio, 9-to-5 job, pays his bills, keeps to himself, about as ordinary as it gets, until the day he decided he was done being ordinary. Because his neighbor had absolutely no idea who he was messing with. It started small, like it always does. Derek kept a big red gas can on his driveway, backup fuel for his lawnmower and generator. Normal suburban stuff, right? At first he thought he was just imagining it. The gas was running out faster than it should. But then the pattern became impossible to ignore. Every Tuesday and Thursday, the level dropped, 15, sometimes 20 liters gone overnight. So Derek started keeping track, writing everything down like a man on a mission. Over 3 months, he lost almost $780 worth of gas. And look, that's not life-changing money. But that's overtime hours. That's time he took away from his family to cover a gap he never should have had. That's the slow, creeping feeling of being played in your own home. Meanwhile, his neighbor Gary, living his best life, waving hello in the morning, complaining about gas prices going up. The audacity. Derek set up a camera. Nothing fancy. Cheap motion-activated webcam hidden where you'd never notice it. Tuesday, 7:43 p.m. The footage was crystal clear. Gary walked right up to Derek's property like he owned it. Pulled out a real pump, not some sketchy hose, a proper pump. And calmly, confidently, like he'd done it 100 times before, drained the gas into his own can. No looking over his shoulder, no hesitation. Just a guy helping himself to what wasn't his. Derek watched that clip over and over, 40 times, 50. And somewhere in those replays, something shifted inside him. The anger stopped being hot. It went cold, clinical. Because he realized something important. Gary wasn't just a thief. Gary was the kind of person who had been getting away with stuff his whole life. The kind who doesn't think of himself as a bad guy. He just thinks the world owes him a little extra. You know the type. Derek didn't call the cops, didn't go knock on Gary's door. He decided he wanted Gary to actually learn something, so he kept the gas can right where it was. Even topped it off regularly, made sure it always looked full. But what was inside? That wasn't gas anymore. Derek had carefully swapped it out. A mixture that looked like gas, smelled like gas, poured like gas, but any engine that got a taste of it? It was toast, and Derek just waited. 5 days later, Gary showed up again, grabbed the can, pumped out the gas, walked away happy. Derek watched from the window, didn't say a word, just waited. First to go was the riding mower. Gary spent half a day messing with it, pulling the cord, staring at the engine, calling someone on the phone. Nothing. Derek could see the whole thing from his kitchen window, sipped his coffee. 2 days later, the pickup truck died, right in the middle of the road. Gary called a tow truck, and here's where it gets really interesting. The tow truck driver needed Gary's license and registration to move the vehicle. And that's when it came up. An active arrest warrant, old unpaid fines that had quietly escalated into something a lot more serious. Cops showed up fast. Gary got arrested right there in front of his house, in front of the whole neighborhood, in front of his kids. A week later, the motorcycle went too. Total repair costs across everything, over $4.5 grand. But at that point, the money was the least of Gary's problems. 2 weeks after the arrest, Gary got fired. He worked for the city's transportation department, the kind of job where a criminal record is an automatic goodbye. A month after that, his wife took the kids and left. She didn't stick around for explanations. Gary had to sell the house, and he moved to another state. Let's be real about what was actually going on here. Gary wasn't stealing because he was broke. He wasn't desperate. He wasn't starving. He was stealing because he could. And because taking something without getting caught gave him something more valuable than gas. It gave him a sense of control, a small, quiet power over someone else. Psychologists call this moral disengagement. It's the mental trick we play on ourselves to justify treating someone else's stuff like it's up for grabs. The closer you are to someone, the easier it gets. Neighbors, co-workers, people you see every day. Familiarity doesn't breed respect. Sometimes it breeds entitlement. Gary didn't see Derek as a victim. He saw him as a resource. But here's the other side of this. Derek let it go on for 3 months. And that wasn't weakness. That's just how most of us are wired. Confrontation feels dangerous, especially with someone you have to live next to. The mental cost of that conversation feels way higher than the actual dollar loss. And people like Gary, they count on that. They steal quietly because they know the victim will probably just swallow it. Here's what research out of Tilburg University found that nobody talks about. When people take proportional action against someone who wronged them, they don't just feel better in the moment. Their long-term stress and anxiety actually drop, more than if they just let it go. Because doing something gives you back the thing that really matters, the feeling that you're in control of your own life, that the world responds to your actions, that you're not just someone things happen to. The scariest part of this story isn't what Gary did. It's how long Derek let it slide before he did anything about it.